Saturday mornings, 8:30 Eastern, Dixie Football Nation is back and better than ever. We've got Tony Agolini, Matt Carr, Tones Ariola, Bobby and Angelo, along with Mac McGee this fall. Dixie Football Nation heads to the gridiron, talking ACC, SEC, the Big Ten, and all the big games throughout the college football land. That's Dixie Football Nation, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, Saturday mornings on the Armchair Quarterback Show's YouTube channel, going live. Or catch the instant replay. Get your Sunday football morning started off right with the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert, a 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over, under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football year-long and your DFS payouts. Your only true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, and your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Sundays, all NFL season long. Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live, covering the AFC South and NFC South along with the rest of the NFL. Subscribe and like us today. Your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Here we go on a Friday. Baseball gets rolling at 7:05 Eastern. It's the Cardinals at the Pirates all weekend. J.A. Happ versus Stephen Brault. Rays are at the O's. Michael Wacha versus Matt Harvey. And the Red Sox, they're at the Indians. E-Rod versus Tristan McKenzie, who has been red hot his last 2 starts out. The Braves host the Giants all weekend. Should be a fun series. Logan Webb versus Max Fried. The Cubs, they're at the White Sox. Reynaldo Lopez for the Southsiders. Ooh, Yankees and A's. Nestor Cortez versus Sean Manaea could be a preview for the AL wildcard. Diamondbacks at the Phillies. It's Aaron Nola's chance to beat up the D-backs. Reds are at the Marlins with Wade Miley on the hill. Blue Jays and Tigers, Steven Matz versus Matt Manning. And the Nationals are in New York to face the Mets. Paulo Espino versus Rich Hill in his 0-1 record, 5.06 ERA since coming over to the National League. The Astros and Rangers, it's Jake Odorizzi and Dane Dunning set to take place in the Lone Star State. And at 8:10 Eastern, the Brewers are at the Twins. Eric Lauer is expected on the bump. Padres at the Angels at 9:38. Joe Musgrove gets the ball. And the Rockies are at the Dodgers. Kyle Freeland, who's pitched well of late, is slated to go. In your nightcap is the Royals versus the Mariners. Logan Gilbert is on the mound. National Football League preseason kicks back off tonight. It's the 3rd and final week of the preseason. Colts and Lions at 7 o'clock, Eagles and Jets at 7:30, and the Steelers are at the Panthers at 7:30. While at 8 o'clock Eastern on the NFL Network, it's the Vikings versus the Chiefs. On Saturday, August 28th, the Bears are at the Titans at 7 Eastern. That's on the NFL Network. While earlier in the day, you have the Packers and Bills on NFL Network. And at 10 o'clock, the late slate, it's the Chargers and Seahawks. 3 games on the NFL Network. At 8 o'clock Eastern, it's the Bucks and Texans. Ravens and Washington are at 6 o'clock. And the Cardinals are at the Saints at 8. And at 9:05, it's the Rams at the Broncos. On Sunday, Jaguars and Cowboys, NFL Network, 1 o'clock Eastern. and the Bengals host the Dolphins at 4 o'clock Eastern. That game can be seen on CBS. On the NFL Network at the same time, you've got the Raiders at the San Francisco 49ers. And at 6 o'clock Eastern, it's the Patriots at the Giants. And on NBC, Browns are at the Falcons for Sunday Night Football, the third and final weekend of the preseason. It's expected that not many starters will play. And that's your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Stay tuned for the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
But what the hell, boy?
Hey everybody, it's Harry Carey for the Armchair Quarterbacks. Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Good morning.
Armchair.
YouTube Live.
CBS Sports
Radio station. The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station? It's everything.
I like everything. It's always on my radio. We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
Yes, 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 yes. No, no, no.
And he was like, I'll just auto draft my team. And I was, right? Like, yeah, sure, you'll end up with a good team, but you can't do that.
Armchair.
Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. I witnessed 2 failed strategies yesterday. One I don't want to talk about, and the other's the old ball coach predicting the Week 3 win against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Good luck with that.
Hi, I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. It's time to change this. Stupid Tebow. Baby. Yeah. It's time to tighten up. It's time to tighten up. It's Tennessee Titan Day here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Keep it locked in here to CBS Sports Radio and YouTube Live.
Did you say something? What'd you call me?
I didn't call you anything.
Oh, you didn't call me anything? So now you guys are messing with me?
No, we're not doing anything.
I mean, you want to go? I'll go right now.
You saying you want to fight me?
Anytime.
I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh, and one other thing. I'm off right now, so I'll be waiting outside in the parking lot where I'm going to gut you like a deer.
That was bone chilling.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a groove in his team. Yeah, the armchair.
Hey, howdy, hi, Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee sitting alongside Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
A little somber this morning, but it is Friday. I am on vacation next week, so trying to pick myself up, and it is Titan Day, so tighten up.
I may not know what you're referring to, so you're going through bad times, sir. I hate to hear that.
Just world events from yesterday, but I mean, anytime there's an attack on our military, man, I take it personally, and I don't know, just somber time for me, man.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, we won't get into that today, but yeah, I feel you on that. That's it's an absolute mess, and
yeah.
It's probably about ready.
Anyway, didn't mean to go down that hole. I apologize, but yeah,
it's probably about time for another Wake Up Nation. But as far as gonna try to keep everyone upbeat and whatnot, the Atlanta Braves, they have gained a full game on the Phillies and the Mets the last 2 days and haven't thrown a pitch, haven't swung the bat. Now that you gotta love.
It's a great rotation right there.
I tweeted it out yesterday or today. I can't remember which one. I was like, if we can just stay on vacation for the next week and a half, we could probably have the division clinched by Labor Day, is what I'm thinking. So I think we found the key to our bullpen. Don't let them throw. The New York Yankees, by the way, they keep getting more and more hot. It's unbelievable. The streak is up to now 12. They said they have not won 12 in a row since like the early 1960s. That shocked the hell out of me because I just would have assumed one of these great Yankee teams would have rattled off wins like this, right? I would have assumed sometime in the 90s with all those, especially that team in 97 that like blew, or was it 98? 98. That broke the modern day record for wins at the time. I just assumed that they would have rattled off some wins like this, but they blew a 6-0 lead yesterday and still win the damn game. Unbelievable. But the Braves do begin a tough series of their own right starting tonight at home against the Giants. We will have a Braves country at the top of the hour after the show, so 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll be going live with Braves country today to get you set for that. College football kicks off this weekend. Gonna get you excited about any of those games. Illinois versus Nebraska. Hawaii versus UCLA. And sadly enough, those are marquee matchups.
I wouldn't say excited, but I'm sure at some point late night I will have them recorded and we'll be watching them. So I most likely will tune in.
I'm going to watch the Illinois-Nebraska game. I don't know if I'll be locked into it per se, but I'll have it on. I'm going to get ready for some stuff with us going out of town next week. So I've got some stuff I have to do in the studio, so I'll have that on. I'll have the UCLA game on. More interesting on what UCLA looks like than who actually wins that game. The rest of it's really, really difficult to talk myself into watching. Fresno State is playing UConn. Ugh. I mean, the reason I'm going to get locked into that, Justin, is I don't have to bang you over under or something. Like that's all. There's no way to talk me into that. So let's go ahead and dive into the first quarter of the Armchair Quarterbacks because it's Tennessee Titan Day, baby. It's time to tighten up. It's about time. We are here. We do all these capsules, and I usually save the Tennessee Titans for the end so that we can. Well, in a lot of years, it's because we're putting it off because we're dreading what's coming. I think this year should be a year where Tennessee Titan fans are very excited and very optimistic about what's to come on this season. The Titans, they did get the bad news last night early this morning that Tannehill is in the COVID protocol. The good news is we still have 2 weeks before kickoff. So
They're saying that he'll be in the protocol for 5 days, and no one knows if he actually has it. If he actually has it, that means he could be be out longer. But if it's just for the contact tracing, then he'll be back to work. What would that be? Either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when that actually went into play. But other than that, it's been pretty good news out of Titans camp. What say you?
I mean, just the big news is hopefully preventing a big outbreak. I think there's 8 total coaches and players. I'm assuming most of them are coaches, since Vrabel and Tannehill only real big names that we've been taken off the list. So hopefully this has run its course, and then they are, this is done for the season. So we'll see. And whatever you're doing on road trips, stop, because it happened last year on a road trip. It's happening again this year. Hey, you need to change something over the road.
I've got it in front of me. We got 7 players on the COVID list. 3 are starters: in Swaim, Tannehill, and Landry. And then we've got the backup nose tackle and Anthony Rush. And then we have the running back Jeremy Nichols, and inside linebacker 3rd string Justin March, and then we have the outside linebacker. He's 4th string. I don't even know if he'll make the roster, but Nick Zubnar, and that's the list. Like, there's probably one coach. I'd say it's probably a defensive coach, because there's 4 defensive players, but then there's also 3 offensive players. So who the hell knows who the coach is? But anyways, there's nothing we can really react to that, because there's nobody knows if this is just protocols or if this is an actual outbreak. So moving on from that, looking at what we can talk about, what we do know is that they're going to get out and get a chance to play with their toys this year. One of them being Christian Fulton, who should help lock up that secondary this year. And then let's talk about him first. What are you hearing about him in Titans camp?
Well, I mean, what we've seen in game so far is just that the kid Young's got great recovery speed.
I said Fulton. I meant to say Farley. Excuse me.
Caleb Farley. Yeah.
Sorry.
He's still young. He's learning. It's going to be there, but you can see the talent level that they took the risk on, and so far, so good. Fingers crossed. The back appears to be healthy and strong. So, you're hesitant on that one. You never know, but it looks as if position, and once he gets his proverbial feet underneath him in the NFL, I think the kid's going to have a good career as long as he feels good and stays healthy. He definitely has the instinct and the talent and the closing speed to definitely make up for some of his just rust and slow speed right now. I mean, remember, the kid hasn't played football in a minute.
I've got a pretty.
That's like 18 months. His last time he was on the field.
I got a pretty funny question that's been posed to you, Justin. The question is,
okay,
does Justin take off for vacation every baseball and football fantasy draft season?
I don't know. Well, this one's just based around the school system, so I mean, I guess I do.
It does.
I take the same week every year, so.
Yeah, that's funny. I forgot that you were on vacation during the fantasy baseball as well. Are you going to be able to make all the drafts that you're in?
I hope so. Should be.
I don't know all ones that you're in right now, but because I
don't either. I've got to look it up. I know the big one live in person on Sunday, but the other ones I haven't even looked at yet.
Yeah, that one I'm very much looking forward to being able to see all y'all for the first time. We've got one tonight, but I think this was one that we slapped together. And I try not to put you in too many, because I know I got you in quite a few. There is some talk about doing a dynasty one, so let me know if you have any interest in that. We're talking about like a tree.
I can't do it anymore.
That's what I figured. That's why
I've got multiple kids in multiple things right now. They are stretching this guy thin, and my fantasy playing it's suffered because of it. Except for my dynasty rotisserie baseball team. Excuse me, that one is whipping some butt.
You don't do anything with that damn team. If you had to do something, you'd be getting murdered right now. But I am pulling for you to win that. Irony would be rich. That's all I can say.
Listen, great planning doesn't mean I didn't do anything.
I think it did. I think you haven't had to. I'm looking at right now, you've made 3 moves all year.
Well, damn, when you're that good, you don't have to make many moves.
Yes, so, man. I guess you're right now. You slipped out of first place. You're back down in second. But you're 6.
All right, I'll make a 4th move.
You're 6 points behind. So I did notice that Correa virus was making vigorous and just it was one move after another about a week ago. He just won at bam, bam, bam in that league. I was like, okay, so he's really trying to win this thing. I think my ceiling is my ceiling. I'm sitting in third. I think that's as high as I can get. I started off so badly in the offense that it didn't matter how good my pitching is. My offense was just so piss poor for the first 6 to 8 weeks. I can't climb out of that hole. Now I'm
not going to mess with it. It's done this good.
Right. Back to the Titans. And just a reminder on the fantasy, there are a few fantasy drafts this Sunday. So all the keeper leagues and stuff like that, you might want to check and see all that. The Titans, looking at the Titans schedule this year, and you look at all what they've got coming back. First of all, I think the Titans are probably going to be one of these teams that people are just going to assume win the division. And I can't argue against that. But the only one that I think would put a mess into that is if what if Carson Wentz actually comes back and is really good? I don't think he is, and I think he was a desperate attempt by the Colts to try to come back and revive what a career with just been riddled by injuries, and he's already battling an injury. But that is the big question mark. I'm going to get to the over-under here in a second because let's go ahead and go through their actual schedule. But the over-under to me seems extremely low considering how big of a favorite they are to win the division and considering the fact that the Tennessee Titans are playing 17 games this year. So they start off with the Cardinals at home, and then they're at the Seahawks at home against the Colts and at the Jets. Where do you have them after those?
3-1. I think they dropped the Seahawks game if I'm picking one.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I think Metcalf and Russell Wilson stretch that young secondary, and I think that spells trouble out west. But aside from that, I think they handle the business on the other 3.
The Cardinals concern me because they are explosive, but I do think that look, the Titans should be able to own that line of scrimmage, right? And so my only concern is have they done enough on the defensive end to become – it's very similar to what we were talking about earlier with the Gators with Tony, is the fact that this team's going to score points. Are we going to be able to stop people from scoring points? Because that's all they have to do is make a few stops every game, and I think the Titans are probably going to win most games. But that's what knocked them out of the playoffs is the defense. They get past the Jets game and they go to the Jaguars. They're at home against the Bills and home against the Chiefs. They're 2 teams that were in the AFC Championship game, but they are both at home. And then they go to the Colts. That's a pretty rough stretch right there. Where do you have them after that?
2-2.
Okay. So they're 5-5 coming out of the Colts game. What are the 2 losses that you most likely see?
The Bills and the Colts at Colts. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I missed the Chiefs. The Chiefs are in there too, but I picked the Bills for for whatever reason. I mean, we seem to go back and forth with the Chiefs, so we'll see.
I think
this offense is going to be completely different with the decoy of
and by the way,
wide now opposite. You that's one less man in the box for King Henry, and if not, give Julio Jones one-on-one. See what happens.
I believe that
I think he'll get one-on-one than he's ever.
I think we're
as long as Tannehill is Tannehill of last.
I think they probably get the Bills game because it's a Monday night game in Nashville. I just have a feeling they're going to win that game. But that Colts game and that Chiefs game, that's going to be tough. They normally don't play well in Indianapolis. You would think if they are going to be worth a damn, that they should be who they are by that time. The Chiefs game, we know we have a hard time with the Chiefs, but it is in, it is in Tennessee. It wouldn't shock me.
My only reservation to the Bills game is they got embarrassed last time we played on that Monday night game, coming off of the COVID shortage. They were down a lot of their defense, and Josh Norman got posterized. Everybody remembers that. And so I definitely think that game is scheduled, and they're going to come in here with bad intentions. Now, granted, I hope Tennessee pulls off the win, but I think that might be a complete game for Buffalo, one of them where they just put it together. They've got that game circled.
And the Chiefs game is going to be coming off of 6 days rest as well. So that's why I'm leaning Chiefs loss. And unfortunately, it could be a 3-game losing streak because after that, they go to the Rams. And they go to the Rams on all I have is the date. I don't have the day of the week in front of me, but it looks like it's a Sunday night game. And that's going to be a tough one. I don't know what the hell they did to have to play the Bills, Chiefs at the Colts and at the Rams back to back to back, and then come home against the Saints. And then they get a little bit of a breather at home against the Texans, and then they're at the Patriots. Where do you see them after those 4 games? Rams, Saints, Texans, Patriots.
I'm going to put them back 3-1. I think they get off the slide. I worry about the Rams and at the Patriots. I think one of them ends up being an L. If I'm picking it today, I think it's at the Rams, but I could see a scenario where Jones takes over and the Patriots are rolling by that time of year, and you just never know on November 28th in New England what the weather's going to be. I've seen snow games up there too many nights. What 59-0? I mean, it's just I've seen it before. We've read this book.
Quit bringing up old stuff, man. A lot of years of therapy got me past that game. After that,
wasn't that a Thanksgiving game? That was embarrassing. I still have nightmares about that.
I know it was a night game or at least a late evening game where by the time the game was finished, it was dark, and it wasn't just dark in tennis in New England. It was dark in my heart. And then I'll always remember that playoff loss where they lost to the Patriots, and what is his name? The wide receiver. Drew. I'm drawing a blank. Where he could have had the catch and he dropped it. Drew Bennett. That playoff loss in New England always sticks out with me. So they're going to finish the season off with a 5-game stretch of at home against the Jags, at the Steelers, at home against the 49ers, at home against the Dolphins, and then they're at the Texans. It seems like they're at the Texans at the end of the season every single year now. Where do they finish all in all?
I think they close it out. I'm going to go 5-0.
Wow, 13-6?
Well, I think I'm.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
That puts us over. I think I'm at 5 losses.
Okay, 5 losses.
It should be 12-5.
Okay, 12-5. All right. I don't know what the hell I did there. Yeah, I did something screwy with the math there a second ago. I see what I did way back. All right, at the very beginning. All right, so you got them at 12-5. It's a little too rich for my blood. I think 11-6, 10-7 is going to get this division because I think the rest of the division is going to be really bad. But I'll go with 11-6. But listen to the over-under for the Titans. 9.5. In a 17-game season, that's saying that they're barely going to be over 500. And actually, the money in Vegas is on the under. Man, I think I'm running to the window for that one. Because unless there's something unforeseeable, injury, etc., the Titans should win at least 10 games. I think 10 games is worst case scenario. I think your 12-5 is best case scenario. I'm going a little bit in the middle at 11.
Well, I mean, I think you get at least 5 division wins. So based off that, you've got to pull 5 out of the other 12.
I mean, what we're talking about is we're talking about them going 9-8 if they hit the under. This team should not go 9-8, and if they do, their heads are going to roll.
That's going to be another heartbreaking Tennessee season. Hey, we changed the rules so we wouldn't have Jeff Fisher records. We don't want to see another 8-8.
I was just about to say, unless they're planning on bringing Jeff Fisher back, I don't see this team going 9-8. I think this team will at least win 10, but I'm thinking more 11 or 12 wins, and I think they win the division pretty easily. I think they win it by 3 or 4 games regardless, because I just don't think the Colts are going to be able to keep up. They've got a very good defense, the best defense in the division, but outside of that, I think the Colts are going to struggle to score. And oh, by the way, breaking news, which is we already knew this, but Jameis Winston has been named starter for the Saints. I mean, if you watched the Monday night game, you thought Taysom Hill was the starter. I mean, what the hell? I don't know if he'll stay the starter because he might throw 6 interceptions the first game, but he is now the starter for the Saints. What is your walk-off for the day, sir, as we're up against time?
Thanks for agreeing with us, Sean Payton. Out down. Should have listened last week.
Going to be eating them W's. All right, brother. Well, we will see you Monday.
Wash your hands, Jameis. Wash your hands.
Monday, we'll do the Florida Gators, and then Tuesday is a college football prediction.
We're going to talk about that Alabama upset on Monday.
I can't get on board with that one, man. I'm sorry. I
can't either, but that made my day yesterday. It really helped me out, and man, I'm glad they're going to be softened up for my boys who play Alabama or Florida week 4. So, good job.
All right, brother. We will see you on Monday.
I'll see you next week. Y'all have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. Get your Sunday football morning started off right. The Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert. A 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over, under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football year long and your DFS payouts. Your only true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, and your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Sundays, all NFL season long. Saturday mornings, 8:30 Eastern. Dixie Football Nation is back and better than ever. We got Tony Agolini, Matt Carr, Tones Areola, Bobby and Angelo, along with Mac McGee this fall. Dixie Football Nation heads to the gridiron, talking ACC, SEC, the Big Ten, and all the big games throughout the college football land. That's Dixie Football Nation, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, Saturday mornings on the Armchair Quarterback Show's YouTube channel, going live, or catch the instant replay.
Follow CBS Sports Radio in the Twitterverse for breaking sports news. Go to twitter.com/CBS Sports Radio.
This is Jim Rome. Join me in the jungle for your phone calls and the biggest names in sports. Stop by weekdays, noon until 3 Eastern, 9 to noon Pacific.
It all starts with just one thing. Get to know your local beekeeper. You can make sure they don't use chemicals in the hive, that they only sell surplus honey, plus locally produced honeys have a smaller carbon footprint. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled.
Fantasy football's back, baby. Are you ready for the draft, Mr. Carr?
It's gonna be a hoot.
It's gonna be what?
A hoot.
Oh, a hoot. Now, are you playing golf this morning?
Yeah, I'm going golfing here in about an hour.
And then you're going to be at a barbecue?
Yeah, then we're going to Steve's barbecue competition. I'm not drinking golfing, though. That is very true.
Oh, man, I don't even know how to level the playing field. I guess I have to get everyone to start like, all right, everyone else in the league, have a 4 martini lunch.
I'm not. Our tea time's actually at 10:20. I'm not drinking because I'm actually in a company vehicle. So I'm actually not drinking. But as soon as I hit Franklin, Tennessee, I'm going, boy.
I bet it is. I bet it is Panama. I bet there's no way in hell that it's not. That's why I'm just like, man, oh my God. All right. Well, I expect you to spend like $130 on Derrick Henry tonight, so, and you'll be out.
Or Calvin Johnson or Garoppolo.
Oh my God, that is going to be an absolute. Well, it's going to be funny. You see, Jameis Winston has been named a starting quarterback for the Saints. Will he be your first round draft pick?
Not again. Not this year.
Not after what he did to me last year. They are making a big deal about this. Man, splattered all over ESPN everywhere. I'm like, who the hell did you think was going to start? Because Taysom Hill.
I thought Hill was going to start, honestly. I really did.
Oh, I did not, man. If you watch that game Monday night, I mean, it reminds me of the old one of these kids is doing his own thing kind of thing where Jameis Winston's throwing darts and bullets all over the place, and Taysom Hill looks like that they've run a fake punt with the punter, and he's running back trying to complete a pass. I was like, what are we looking at?
But to be fair, that's what it always looks like when he plays.
To be fair, yeah, but I think it's funny that going into this preseason that this would even be it. From what I've seen, because I watched 2 of their preseason games, from what I've seen, unless there's something just totally different going on in practice, this was never even a competition.
Right.
See, we've always seen Taysom Hill shine in big moments when they come in and use him as a wildcat type of situation.
Right.
But when he's had to start, he's looked terrible.
I'm interested in Bridgewater actually as a starter in Denver.
I'm a little shocked about that one because that just tells me that that means that the handwriting's on the wall that Drew Lock's NFL career is essentially over as a starting quarterback.
I mean, he's going to be, yeah, exactly. He's going to be, you'll see him in 10 years and be like, oh yeah.
Right. He's going to be holding a clipboard somewhere, and he's got a strong enough arm where I guess he can be a good backup. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. You can make some good money doing that. But as far as a starting quarterback in Denver, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
They're going to get through this year with Teddy Bridgewater, and then you watch. Aaron Rodgers is going to be wearing the smoke-filled horse head by 2022, because John Elway's going to go out there and he's going to wine and dine him the way he did Peyton Manning and say, you come here, we've got pretty good receivers. We've got Jerry Jeudy, we've got Sutton, we've got Fant, we've got a pretty good rookie running back that I think we'll have I expected him to have a much better year if Bridgewater wasn't the starting quarterback, but they're just out there trying to get W's. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to get enough W's so that heads don't have to roll, and then they'll get rid of Bridgewater. Because Bridgewater is what he is.
Yeah.
He's a starting quarterback-ish, meaning if you've got a real gunslinger, you're not starting him, right? But if you're on the, I've got Drew Lock, then yes, he's a starting quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is a safer version of Gardner Minshew, is what he is. Because the one thing Bridgewater doesn't do, he doesn't do stupid things. He doesn't turn the ball over.
No. Because, he's very accurate. I mean, I've watched him since college, man, so I've always rooted for him.
But what he is, I will say this. He's a leader. He doesn't make the dumb turnovers, but damn, he's a boring brand of football. And I hate it for Broncos fans because he's
the San Antonio Spurs of
what's that?
It's like, I just always thought like the Spurs were always very good, but they're just so boring to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if he's championship type good, but he's good.
Good.
He's solid.
They got a good offensive line. We'll see. I mean, that'll be an interesting little team, especially. I mean, but like you said, I see Rodgers there next year as well. So,
free advice though: if you draft him in your fantasy league, I don't care how deep of a league it is, you will not win anything. I don't care if Teddy Bridgewater is on your team, it's a wrap. Going
as a championship, you mean?
Going 14 of 27 for 113 yards and maybe one touchdown is not going to win you any of your weeks. So get past that. We did the Gators this morning, and there's a full breakdown of it with Tony on the Gators and Golf with Tony that we do every Friday mornings at 8 a.m. So he did a complete breakdown of it. But I'm curious to see you as a Gator fan. I know Tony's an encyclopedia with University of Florida. You're just a passing Gator fan. Like you like your team, but you can't tell me the third string linebacker, right?
Right. And I guarantee you Tony can.
Yes. He's probably having a Twitter war with him right now. But where do you think the Gators land right now? The over-under in Vegas is 9 wins.
I think they get 10 wins, beat Georgia, and win the East again.
Wow, are you incredibly going to be wrong? But look, I like your spunk, kid. I like your pizzazz.
I mean, Georgia. What is Georgia? Georgia's ranked 4th in the nation right now. Florida's top 20. I don't know. They lost a lot of offensive power last year. Georgia. They think they've got their quarterback, but they haven't had their quarterback in a while. They thought they had it.
Okay, but put all that aside. How have they fixed the defense in Gainesville? Because that defense is terrible.
Because last year they hit rock bottom last year, so it could only be better. That's how they had. I mean, it was the worst defense in the league.
And then Todd Grantham goes, "Hold my beer." You don't think it can get worse? Wait till we're on the field even more because you don't have Trask running the show.
That's my whole man. I believe in Mullen. I think he's a good quarterback or a good coach.
I think he is a good quarterback coach.
I mean, I believe in him, and I think he's a winner. I think he's a proven winner, and he's did it. We've got to a New Year's Six bowl game every year. He's been there. Why stop now?
I think he's a good quarterback coach. I don't think he's a championship coach. If he is, he's yet to prove it. He's never even been in the SEC championship game, and he's had some pretty good teams. But I don't necessarily put that all on him. What's that?
He was in it last year.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I meant to say won the SEC championship game.
Oh, yeah, no.
he was in the SEC championship game last year. Yes. Sorry. But once again, that defense got torched. And
then they met Oklahoma and Lord.
Right. That game, Oklahoma,
That game was.
I'm not going to take the game away from Oklahoma. Oklahoma won it. I think Oklahoma wins it regardless, but it was such a blowout because half the team didn't show up because all the playoff game, all these bowl games have become meaningless to these kids. And it sucks. It sucks because I still say the best idea that I've seen anyone come up with to save the college bowl game is we should be having bowl games right now. Preseason. August 28th.
August preseason rankings.
August 28th. Give me the Sugar Bowl. Give it because and go by what you think are so. In other words, let them invite whoever the hell they want to invite. There could be conference ties, but it's the predicted. In other words, go off of who you think is going to be really good, and we could have some really good matchups to start it off. Give us the bowl games at the beginning of the year. Let's go to a playoff system because we're heading there anyways. At least give me 7. I'll live with 8. I'm going to cringe at 16. I'll only get slightly nauseous if you give me 12. But let's just do it. And it will make people will go to these bowl games. Well, maybe not you, but Tony is going to saddle up and go to the Rose Bowl if he knows the beginning of the season is going to be the Gators versus Southern Cal. Right. And that's probably a bad example because that's not who they would typically put in there. Or Fiesta Bowl, the Gators versus, we'll just say Oklahoma because we were just talking about it.
Yeah.
August 28th. And would you not be locked into that?
But it means, Tony would, I wouldn't be because it don't mean anything. Like because you wouldn't count it against your record, right?
Yes. Yes. There's no preseason in college football. But you're going to have a playoff. You're having an extended playoff, so it doesn't hurt you as much.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I've always thought there's too many bowl games. I know you've always loved the bowl games. I know that. But now it's like you used to go watch, 10 good bowl games. Now you can only watch the top 4, it seems like.
Right, but in this format, you expand the bowl games. Give me 50 of them. Because even give me like the lower tier teams who aren't going to be that good, but they still have a bowl game, and do it between now and Labor Day weekend, because this is when everyone can take vacations, right? You can go grab the family. If you've got the means, you can grab the family and say, hey, we're going to go to San Francisco and watch the, what's a Matzah Bowl, whatever the hell you want to call it. Cause we've never been out to California with the kids. Do it now. And then there would be such an excitement. There's no NFL to compete with it either. So there's no NBA, there's no NHL. You've got baseball and a pennant chase, but it really heats up in September, right? So it would be perfect. I would love it. But they never do anything that makes sense, and they never listen to me until I become the czar of sports. We're always going to be stuck in this conundrum. We're going to have bowl games that no one's going to watch in December. And we're going to have NBA games on Wednesday night at 11 p.m. So that's the way this goes. But all right, so you've got them going to the SEC title game. Do they beat Alabama?
No.
Okay. So
I got Florida, Georgia, Kentucky. I got Alabama, A&M, LSU. Those are my top 3.
Okay. I thought you were naming off your college football playoffs. Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama are going to be the college football. We haven't quite gotten there yet, but they are starting the SEC Invitational soon.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Pac-12's out there like trying to get some cred. We're going to get the ACC and Big Ten to play us more.
That was embarrassing, man. I felt bad for that whole –
ACC and Big Ten are like rolling their eyes. Whatever, dude. We play relevant games. We're gonna get Oregon to face off with Northwestern more often. Yeah, whatever, man.
Right.
Florida State's going. Can we focus on the fact that we got to play the Gators and Clemson? Can we quit? Would you quit Zoom meeting me these stupid things?
When I saw that go across the screen, I was kind of half looking at it. I was like, what?
I'm not. No, I'm not going out to Pullman, Utah to play Washington State in the middle of October. I got things to accomplish. So your college football playoff.
I don't have Alabama winning it all.
But you do have them in there.
I do have them in there. I think Oklahoma ends up playing Alabama in the championship game, and Oklahoma wins. And
who are the other?
I want to see Iowa State Clemson in there too.
Okay.
So the odd man out is Georgia, and that's just going back to my Florida beating Georgia. So
I'm gonna give my college football playoffs next week, but I'll tease it with this. You mentioned one of the teams that I've got in the last few sentences. You have mentioned one of the teams. You've actually mentioned two of the teams that I have in the college football playoffs this year, and it's not your typical Alabama, Clemson stuff. So, but we're going to do those on, I believe, Tuesday, doing that with Jessica, because Wednesday is the fantasy football draft we'll be doing live. And I am not going to try to have any kind of a script while we're doing that, because it's hard enough to draft and host a show on radio that I have to worry about people going, and there's a lot of dead silence going on. Like, what the hell's going on here? I'm over studying my cheat sheet. Now, there's going to be more of that tonight. If you tune in tonight and you watch the live YouTube draft, that thing is it's not going out on radio. We're just televising because we're putting it on YouTube because we thought it'd be a lot of fun, and everyone can join. You just jump into the Zoom room and I'll let you in, but there's not going to be any kind of script over it. Just people reacting to other guys drafting, and I'm sure some will be making fun of, and et cetera, et cetera.
Will there be limits on language?
There needs to be, because it's not good to get dinged like that. I'll just put it that way.
Got it.
I'm realistic, but there needs to be limits on language, because I also don't want kids who are getting ready for fantasy football to tune in and see this junk, Now, Sunday, I'm going to open up the Zoom room. That one will not be on YouTube, and you can say whatever the heck you want to say. Because
I like to let my exclusive fly.
but I will be recording all of it in case any of you try to run for senator down the road. No, but I'll open up the Zoom room for that, just so if anyone wants to hang out. And I don't remember what time, because you're in probably one of those drafts on Sunday, but I'm gonna have the Zoom room open the entire time. But one of those drafts on Sunday, I know you're on the 3:00 your time, the Davy Crockett's one, and then that's
the original one, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if you're in any of these others. I don't think you're in the keeper leagues.
No, I'm in this one tonight, the OG one, and then the live draft
on Wednesday.
Oh, and then I'm on the other live draft in Nashville.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you're on tonight's draft. You're on Wednesday's draft that'll be on the show, and then you're in the one we just talked about that's on Sunday, and then you're in the one in Nashville. Okay. So, I'm looking.
And I got hoodwinked into another league last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
We're actually talking about doing but I kind of want to get everyone in the room on whatever the hell that is, Sunday, September 5th or whatever. Talk about it. There's been some interest from some people about doing a long-term dynasty league where you keep like 10 players, but I just want to get everyone's feel, because I don't want only 5 people want to do it. If I can get 8 to 10, I'm all about it, but I want to make sure there are people who are going to do it every year and be excited about it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Like we have one in baseball, and it is a lot of fun. We've got one that's similar to that right now, but you only keep between 2 to 4, because we never wanted to just wreck the entire draft. But that was back when we were only doing like 3 drafts. So it was a lot different. When I'm in all these other drafts now, I don't mind if one of my drafts is only going to be like 3 to 5 rounds. Right. So it's a totally different thing there, but I think there's going to be some interest in that. So that one won't take place until I get back into town, probably like the day before the season starts, or the day the season starts is when that draft will go down. So, go ahead and just clear September.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are your guys. Let me ask you something. We haven't talked about this in a while. Someone asked me about this. Are you still doing anything with the stock market?
Yeah, I mean, but I've did all my double down. I'm all in on Palantir. I've been riding that train since 4 or 5 months now.
Which one is it?
Palantir.
Oh,
PLTR.
Gotcha. So it's because, all right, I said someone text me about not being able to move guys in the baseball league. When your team is like 3-12, yes, the computer locks you. You can't make pickups because the fear is someone's just going to tank and drop a bunch of damn players. So, and it's funny that he's trying to win. It's like, dude, you realize this is the last week of the season? You're not making the playoffs. Like, you're not making the playoffs.
That was a funny little story. I was watching, you probably wouldn't know, it was a San Diego game the other night. They went to like 15 innings.
Uh-huh.
I was watching that game and I fell asleep on the couch. And then I woke up and the game was still on. I was like, man, they're already playing a replay of this game. And I look up, it was the 15th inning. I was like, good Lord. It was just kind of funny to me. I made myself laugh because I thought I was on replay already.
To the stock market point, I've been riding the Tesla train.
Yeah, that's strong, man.
It's done solid. It goes up. It starts. I keep waiting for it to take off. That's what's killing me. I want to just zoom so I can just go bloop, get the hell out of. I'm still going to keep some, but I want to make a nice little profit. And right when I think it's going to really take off, it drops again. And I'm not going to sell it on the down, even though I've already made some. I'm not going to sell it on the down. So that's my biggest concern. Is that I've got a few other things, but they're really nothing to talk about and I still dabble a little bit into the crypto, and when it takes off, I sell it and then I wait for it to crash again because it always crashes. So
I'm a big Kathy Wood follower, and her number one thing in her portfolio is Tesla.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so that's her biggest percentage. So I mean, and she's been buying Palantir left and right this last couple of weeks, but her number one. I mean, I think she bought in millions or billions of dollars at Tesla at $300. So that's what she's made her money on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bought in majority of it that I bought in this time because I've gone back and forth. It's kind of hard to explain, but the last time that I bought in and said, all right, I'm sticking with this for a while, it was around 400. That was after I made some money off of the, Dodge and everything. And so it's almost doubled, but the projections have been that by the end of this year, it could be worth well over 900. And that's what I'm waiting for now.
Well, I'll tell you what Kathy Wood said. She said in 5 years, she's like, it's going to be a $3,000 stock.
I think it will be too, but that was before they couldn't figure out how to run the military overseas, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get into that thing, Dave. That thing's an absolute disaster.
Well, what's funny is so her thing is, and we've had this conversation before, like all of her stuff she invests in is like a 4 to 5 year hold pretty much.
Uh-huh.
And I keep saying, I was like, are they just saying 4 years waiting for the next president?
I'll put it this way. When I was buying in on that Tesla, I really thought it would be taking off if we would have had a much cleaner election, and the sky would be the limit right now. Instead, it's much more of a long hold because it's a disaster. But anyways, I'll send you a couple of funny videos that I've seen that I can't share on here because they'll rip them down, but they're pretty damn funny. Let's go ahead and turn back time and get the hell on out of here. Programming reminder: Braves Country comes your way at 10 a.m. Eastern, top of the hour. So let's go ahead and get into this. Boom. On this date, 1960, Ernie Banks hits his 100th. Knocks in his 100th run of the season when he grounds out in the first inning. The Chicago infielder finishes with 117 RBIs. will be the last time the National League shortstop will reach that milestone, or a National League shortstop reaches that milestone until 1985, 25 years later. Now it's commonplace. Shortstop is a power position. When I grew up as a kid, it was not. The great Hubie Brooks was the one that did it in 1985. You probably don't remember him, but he was a hell of a shortstop for the Expos, and then went on later to play for the Mets. I want to say he played for a couple other teams. But
what was your boy Lemke? Was he second base?
Who?
Lemke.
Oh, I thought you said Winky. I was like, well, Chris Winky, he probably played second base too. Lemke was a second baseman, but man, that guy didn't hit double-digit home runs. I mean, he was a.
No, I was thinking that when I think of middle infield, I think of like Lemke.
Yeah, when I was growing up as a kid, like the shortstop in baseball was Ozzie Smith. That guy never went double digits. It was all based on speed because back then it was such a big deal. You didn't do these stupid shifts, so you actually had to have athletes play shortstop. Right. I can't wait till they ban the shift because it's gonna force teams to carry athletic shortstops again.
I watched the game the other night, and it's just every other play was a shift. I was like, good Lord, man.
Yeah, it sucks. The Braves outsmart themselves nightly, but I think when that happens, you're going to see guys like the Ozzie Smiths reappear because you're going to see these. You're going to have range, and look, especially when Ozzie Smith was doing it in the 80s. A lot of people forget how much range you had to have when they had AstroTurf, because that ball would fly and it would bounce. Yeah. It would take off. You could not have some slow-footed thumb in there playing second base like DJ LeMahieu, who he can slug 30 home runs, but he can't bend over and pick up a quarter in under 60 seconds. So that's I for one, I'm pro shift or pro anti-shift or pro banning the shift, I guess would be the best way to call it. Is exactly is it because I miss the athletic play and the most exciting part of baseball. They all think it's the home run. No, the most exciting part of baseball is the ball and play and runners moving. When you get the ball in the gap and a guy's on first, you can't see the whole thing. There's nothing better than going, oh man, can he make it first to home in the gap? Right? The guy blasts it out. You're like, oh, that's exciting for like half a second. But
I'm almost surprised that the MLB has not went to like softball rules. If you hit a home run, you go touch first base and sit down.
I mean, they might as well at this point, but they all want to fist bump and do the shimmy shake and all that kind of junk. Birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
All right, we'll grab a dead guy. Ever heard of Peanuts Lowry? American baseball player, Peanuts Lowry. I would love to know why the hell he was called Peanuts Lowry. Died in 1986. He's from Culver City, California. I was assuming Peanuts Lowry would be from Georgia, but that's a great nickname, though. Peanuts Lowry comes into play. We don't have great nicknames anymore.
No.
Kind of sucks.
It was interesting the other night. I was watching a St. Louis game, and they still have like the Big Mac zone in St. Louis. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like one of the most well-known nicknames now in sports, like LBJ or the King. That's not even creative, and you can't give your own self a nickname. It's stupid. Guys who are still kicking it with us. Let's go with Jim Thome. Jim Thome. He's 51 years old today, from Peoria, Illinois. One of the smoothest left-handed swings, but always reminded me of the Goonies. Does he not look like the dude from the Goonies?
He's not Sloth.
Yeah. Baby.
It does now.
Baby. He's always looked like the Goonies dude to me. What's your walk-off for the day, sir?
Man, just getting ready for some fantasy football. And it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Like I said, I got some best friends that are also in league with us there to help or hinder. I'm not sure how that's gonna play out.
The two that I'm thinking of are gonna hinder because first of all, they're usually not that great in fantasy football, but also, have they ever played auctions?
No, I mean, dude, this is my first auction, so you know that this is gonna be ugly.
Did you ever do a mock?
Oh, I've done many mocks. I did what you said. I did what you said. Go like high on a couple, and then play middle. I did a lot of different versions of how.
Here's a little self-promotion, but I got a lot of good reaction from it. If you want to get an idea of like strategy and everything like that, yesterday's show, the 8:30 show, I do a live mock draft and kind of explain what's going on, why certain ones are doing that. You want to catch it about 10 minutes in because there was a bad audio at the beginning. So about 10 minutes into yesterday's show, if you're looking for like a quick tutorial, I'm in a mock draft. You can see the screen. I'm in a mock draft and you're going in there and basically I'm explaining this is what happens if you don't spend a lot of money early. This is what happens when you do. My walk-off is, man, it's draft week, and I'm so excited about this. And I'll leave y'all with this. Alec Boehm still hasn't touched home plate, and Freddie Freeman still hasn't been tagged from a couple of nights ago. That was a horse crap call that I never got into. Braves Country's on the way at the top of the hour. Have a great weekend, sir. We will see you tonight.
Yes, sir.
It's Friday, working stiffs. Everybody.
4, 3, 2, 1. Happy weekend! Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette, please.